Hello, my name is Sullivan Abeg, and I am taking Research and Development, a class where we choose what we want to research and develop on our own, as the name implies, right? So, what I decided to do was I wanted to make a video game, right? And so, originally, I decided to use Unity, but then I realized, oh wait, I can't just dive headfirst into this because if I try to make a game at this point, it's probably going to be low quality and I'm not going to be able to do it well. And so instead, I decided, hey, let's learn how to code Unity first. So I decided that I wanted to learn C Sharp and 2D specifically. Eventually, I want to learn 3D, but for right now, I'm just going to do 2D. It's easier because on 3D, you're adding a whole new dimension in, which is the Z, and I just that takes a lot. So I decided to take this class, and for that, so I've already gotten past the introduction, the delivery driver, and I'm around right here for the snowboarder. So you guys will mostly be seeing the the car game and a little bit of the snow driver, but I'll just start you guys off with the car game and I'll explain that. So to begin with, what you'll guys notice is it's a car game. So I'll give you guys like what the car game's about. I'll show you what it does and then I'll explain it through. So starting out, this car game, the purpose of it is, let's say you're a car. So I name my guy Speedy Gonzalez. So let's say you're a car, you're moving around because he told us to. Sorry. He told us to give it a neat nickname, like a quick, and so that's what I just decided to name it. So let's say you're driving around, right? Your goal is to pick up these packages, these green squares right here, and then deliver them to the customer, which is the purple square right here. And so these are placeholders. Of course, if I was making like a full game, I'd probably want to put some sprites in there, which is another thing. I'll show you guys how I did and how I made the car and put those sprites in. And then these orange circles right here, they are actually speed ups. So I'll explain that to you guys in a minute. And then they are meant to make you go quicker, right? So I'll show you guys how the game works. So as you guys notice, I actually have WASD controlling this car. And so another thing is I have the camera following the car. So as I'm moving, as you guys can see up on this screen, the camera's following the car and it's actually like on top of it, right? And so another thing is, so like let's say I'm moving at this speed. You guys see that, right? So if I hit this rock right here, boop, I'll go significantly slower. But now if I collect this package, that package is disappearing, right? And I'm carrying that package and my color changed for that. So let's say I pick up this speed boost right here. Ooh, I'm going real quick now. I hit that. Oh no, paddle out. Oh, dang it. Now I'm going slow again. So, and then as soon as I can't pick up two packages at once, right? Because it won't allow me. Because you don't want your player just to pick up all the packages in the first turn and then be done, right? So then he has to deliver each individual one before they can, actually complete the game, right? And along with that, there's message statements. So whenever the car hits like a tree or something, it's gonna say like "ouch, ouch," because as a car driver, if you're running into something, you're gonna be like, "Ow, that hurt! Dang it!" So that's how that works. And now I'll show you guys some of the cool stuff that I learned while doing this. I'm not gonna cover everything; that would take a whole lot of time. But just to show you some things, I learned how to create tags. So for example, I think it would be here. Here I have speed up a tag. So I created a tag called booster, right? And then so what to do, you have to add a tag, you have to create that tag, then you have to actually add it onto the thing. And then from there, that helps because then when you go to the code, you can call that in the code and then it makes it so much easier to do stuff, right? And so I have that and that. They're both packaged right there. This car doesn't have it because I'm not necessarily calling it like that. There wasn't a reason. So I have steer, move speed, slow speed, and boost speed. So you guys will actually see that later in my driver script, which I'll eventually show you guys. And so another cool thing I learned how to do is put rigid bodies and colliders, right? So colliders are these cool, really, really cool things actually, where you can add like where the car is gonna hit. So on a box collider, as you guys can see, it's around the car. So if I run into something like you guys were seeing with the trees, I'm not going to just go through it. And so with this tree right here, this collider around it means that even though on this side it's a bit uneven, I could actually edit it if I wanted to and like change this up so that, oh, Now it looks a lot better. It would take a lot of time to do that with all the trees, and because this is like a class, and he said like, oh, don't get too fancy with it, just make it so it's like workable. That's just what I did, right? And so now I can't pass through that. So what's cool about rigid bodies is, so like, let's say I'm gonna start the game. I'll show you guys something. So with rigid bodies, I can actually add physics onto an object. So for example, if I put the gravity scale at 1, it's just going to start sliding off the world. And that's because we're existing on a 2D plane. So if you're thinking about this as it's like a steer cliff, you're just going to fall straight down. So gravity is actually really good for like platformers, because like, let's say you have Mario, you're jumping, you want to fall back down, and you want to make sure that when you're falling, like if you fall through like, because like as you can see, when I turn on gravity, I'll show you guys again. Sorry, I just want to get this point across. Let's say I turn on gravity 1. See, this bush is holding it up. So let's say I had like a flat surface. Oh, it would stay there. But then if you fell off the world, then you would just keep falling, and then there would be like a game over screen. So that's how it could be useful, right? And then down here, I have my, I'll show you guys this in the delivery code. So this says the package color, right? So this will change. Like, that's why you guys saw, like, oh, when I picked up the color, oh, it changed to green. And so this actually, so if I have the package, it actually changes the tint of the car, because this car, normal sprite, is blue. So it just changes the tint to be green, while this no package color, so if it just is not applicable, right? It's just going to be like, oh, it's just going to be white, because that means that it's going to be applying no color to the car, which keeps its normal blue tint, right? So now I'm gonna actually show you guys the camera. So the camera, as you guys saw, it was following. So I actually have a follow script on it, and it's following Speedy Gonzalez. And you guys will actually see in the code how I called that. So this is the follow camera. This is the driver, and the driver, as I said, is the speed. The delivery is the thing about picking up the packages, making them disappear, all that, and changing the color with it. So now I'm going to show you guys the assets. So I actually downloaded these assets, and to do that, you go into your File Explorer, and then you just drag them in here. And what's cool about these things is, so another thing that we learned is, so let's say pixels per square unit, so I'm gonna change that, just for showing you guys, to 50. This is actually gonna make the car grow bigger, because it's essentially saying, oh yeah, now there's more pixels per, like, now there's gonna be less pixels per the whole thing, which expands it. So I'm gonna put it back to 100, but so that shows you guys how that works. And now after that, I want to show you I want to show you guys the files. So starting out with the speed. So what I started with was I created some variables. So these variables determine like what the speed's gonna go at. And so to create these, I had move speed, which equals slow speed. Oh yeah, this is for the collision part. So this part right here, this is what happens when I hit the trees and I start slowing down, right? And then here, this part right here is for when I hit the trees and I start speeding up. And so these two are like the original speeds with nothing altered. So the steer speed is like how quick I can turn horizontally and like spin around. I mean, yeah, just how quick I can rotate around. And then the move speed is how quick I can actually move forward, which is at a 15 normally. So when I hit an object, it calls, so void on collision, move speed equals slow speed. And so the slow speed, this is basically saying, oh, this variable is slow speed, and that's what happens when on collision with another object. So any object that's not like these, because these are like, they don't register them as objects like these, because they don't have, as I said earlier, they don't have any colliders on them. And then from there, I'm just gonna, if I run into it, then it's gonna activate slow speed, which is up here, which is 8 speed, which is slower than the 15. And if I hit one of the boosters, which is the tag, as I said before, boosters, then I'm just gonna go really quick. Now, if I wanted to make it more specific, I could be if other tag equals object or something, and I could make other things slow you down besides that. Like if I wanted to put like a grease puddle, and it's like, oh, now you're going slower, but I don't need to do that if I have everything else besides the booster slow you down if it has a collider, right? And now next, I'm gonna show you guys the the delivery. So this delivery, this is so for this I'm calling the colors, and so this 111. So this is just white on both things, right? And because this does, just like how with my driver, so when I serialize the field, right, it's actually doing this really cool thing where I can actually change it here. So I never even have to change the things in the code once I do this. And just like for that, I can change the color here. So that white just sets it at white, and that was just like the basis that we used. So going back to this, so for this sprite renderer, these are just variables that we're creating, and we're just saying anyone can use it because we're creating like a I forgot the term, but it's a everyone can use it, because usually, let's say it exists in the void start, I can only call this in the void start, but then on the different voids I cannot call it. But doing this allows everyone to use it inside this the whole delivery asset. All right, and so on Collider 2D, so if I collide with one of these packages, as I said before, right here, let me show you. So with this, I define this. I put the tag package, which allows it much easier, so I can call it which allows me to call it much more easy, right? And then from there, so if other tag equals package and then has package equals false, package is picked up. So if I run into an object, this package will if and has package equals false. So if I do not have a package and this object is titled package, then call in the console, this package has been picked up. You guys don't see it because all my test was that, but I'll show you guys in a second what it looks like. So let's say I'm running over this. It's going to say has package picked up, right? So now going back to delivery, has package equal true, then I'm going to change my color, and then after that, I'm destroying the game object so that they can't just keep running over it over and over and over again, right? So now, if other tag equals customer, I put a tag on that. I won't show you guys because then I'd have to exit out. Debug log, package has been delivered. So now we're reading in the console view, package delivered, and then from there, we're changing the status of the car to has package equals false, which then we're changing the sprite renderer color to no package color, which will make it up here, which is the 111, which is what I changed to white, which does not affect the sprite that I had before, which basically means that it's back to the original blue color, right? And so that's like the basic overview of what I learned, and now I'm gonna show you guys what I've begun to do on the snowboarder, right? So for the snowboarder, we did a level sprite shape, and this part right here, this is because I was in the middle of a lesson, but I just needed to record this video because it's like weekly updates, so this is just keeping me on track. So right here, when I edit the spline, so this is what we did to create this. So I can like stretch this out, and so this allows me to change this level sprite shape a whole lot, and that's like so useful. And then another thing is like this edge, and then another thing. So I don't really have any code yet, so I can't really show you guys any of that. But I'll show you guys all like the physical grunt work I've done so far. So like this edge collider right here, this means that I won't just fall through. I can't show you guys how the game looks because I have an error. Actually, I can. If I hashtag this out, I'll show you guys how the game works. So let's say I'm in this. Oh, I forgot to save it. Sorry. Yeah, that's another thing. Always make sure you Control S, or else it's just not gonna save it. It's not gonna like show you what. Sorry, it takes a little bit. Or else it's just not gonna it's not one of those autosave things, right? So you're seeing Josh, right? That's the guy I named him. Ooh, he's sliding down the hill. It's something real cool that I'll show you guys how he's just able to keep sliding up these hills despite he might have ran out of energy on a normal thing. Yeah, we don't have WASD yet, so he's just sliding along. I got no control over it. But it's because the reason why he's able to do that is because in the level sprite, I have the surface effector 2D, And so what I'm saying is we're going to apply force, and I'm having used by effector. So this is going to just keep pushing him along. And so force scale, so this is how much it's going to push him up hills and stuff. So how much effort it's going to take to push him up that hill. So like, let's say if I put this at 0, what's going to happen is when I run it, he's not going to be able to get up those hills because it's applying less pressure to him. And so like even just doing this, even just sliding is difficult, right? So stop that and let's change it back. And even like the 0.1 is like enough. Like honestly, I could try to change it to like 0.2 or something, and you guys will see the difference here. And now he's probably gonna be like just zooming around. Yep. He's gonna woo right up that hill. Good little jump. I'll probably have to change that when I actually make the game to like 0.3 or something so we can get like some jumping around and stuff. And then another thing, this VC follow camera. So they have this really cool thing. You can make several different cameras for different purposes. So for example, I made this camera and I just set it to follow Josh. So it's just looking at him. But let's say I'm going really quick and I want to make like a camera that has like smudge marks on it to show like, oh, he's going so quick. Well, then I just add a new follow camera. So to do this, you just set a machine and then virtual camera. And then there you go. And then it will give you the option just to follow something, and you can put different settings on it, different code on it. Really cool. And so another thing that I learned, probably the last thing that I can show you guys is, so with Josh right here. So right, Josh was actually 2 sprites that I was given. So first of all, rigid body, I put gravity on him, and this is for that 2D platformer vibe that I was talking about, because you want him to go up those hills, fall down those hills. You don't want him to just go like, oh. Now, you don't want him to just, like, not be able to go. Because if I didn't have gravity, straight up, he would just be stuck in this position, and he would just not be moving, right? So, what I had to do, so there's a capsule collider and a circle collider on this guy. But the reason for that is because he actually has 2 different things that I want to have colliders on. So, like, you see this right here, this sprite renderer. This is actually for the top of him. This is for this part, right? If I click, I forgot that was the game. Right, so you see that right there? That's the top of him. And this is the bottom. And I have to fuse those together. And so I have them under a hierarchy. So Josh is the parent of the border top and the border bottom. And so then from there, you see this right here, which is the circle collider. And down here, this is the capsule collider. But I have them hierarchied under the same thing, right? And so what's cool is, like, let's say I click Josh and I go, oh, sorry, oopsie, I actually changed the name, oopsie, Josh, oop, let's say I click Josh, I click him, wait, sorry, click Josh, and now I'm going, I can move them together because they're under the same parent. And what's cool is they'll always be to whatever location you say above the parent or below the parent. So like with this, I'm saying, oh, just a little bit above the parent. And then with this, I'm just saying, oh, I want you like a little bit below the parent. And then that together means that they're just going to follow that, which is just like really cool, right? And so that's basically all I've done so far on this one. But thank you guys for watching my video. Hopefully I'll have one in next week. Thank you guys. Have a good day.